What's up, everybody? It's the 13th of December. Excuse me. 13th of December 2020. Monday tomorrow. I just want to have a quick look at what's happening in the markets, ready so we could prepare for next week and try and make up for last week, which was a loss for the hour one breakout system, unfortunately. But if we look at the price action that happened last week, you can understand that it was a bad week, and unfortunately not much we can do about it. We're going to have losses, but that's how we react and try and make up for it this week. Let's start with the euro. Euro has been consolidating since breaking 120. This 121, 50 to 75 areas held as resistance a number of times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So the bears forming their line in the sand here at 121.50 to 75. This big resistance at the moment. However, this doesn't really make me that bearish. This uptrend is still intact. You see the first leg, then we consolidated for 4 or 5 months before breaking out last week, or the week before last. We broke through this 120, and we still are yet to test this big breakout area at 120. We've tested 121.54 a number of times, like I said, given a chance for these slow and fast moving averages to catch up. We had a reaction on Wednesday to the slower moving average, but we're still consolidating here. So I would expect any close above this 121.75 area, we might see a further push forward. Although, need to be aware that it's Christmas around the corner. Maybe markets are kind of tapering off. It's been a hell of a year with everything going on, so I wouldn't be surprised if people start taking an extra week off before Christmas. So next week, not sure what to expect. Could become a little bit choppy, but everything's still looking like it's gonna continue the uptrend in euro, even after all this resistance, unless we come back to test 120 and see if we get a reaction from that, which is also this kind of this trend line. So let's see where we open on Monday. But I expect after all these tests of 121.50 area that we come back and test this trend line or 120 before possibly finding support up there. If we close above this area early next week, then I think we push on towards 123 and even 125 if you look at the weekly chart. That looks to be next resistance, and also I've got 122.15 marked up, which provided support a few times back in 2018. Onto the pound. As you can see, December's been extremely volatile for cable. It's not necessarily good volatility. It's been extremely difficult to change or to trade. On hour one, it's been a little bit better, but these comments are quite often coming out, and usually I've been caught on the wrong side of the comments, giving me a few losses. But that's part of the game. I've reduced risk last week to 50% of my normal risk, trading the pound pairs GU and GY. As you can see on the daily chart, it doesn't really give much evidence when you compare the usual volatility of this pair, these kind of bars, to what we've seen in December. All these wicks are not really what you want to see. It's not normal market conditions for the pound, and with all these Brexit comments, until this is out the way, we can expect it to continue to be choppy again. Saying that though, this 134.80 area, which was this high back in September 1, has acted as resistance. We haven't managed to close above that. And in fact, this 133, which has been support and resistance in the past, as we closed below that last week. We actually closed on Monday's low. So I expect the pound to continue this sell-off until a Brexit, a trade agreement has been negotiated and agreed with European Union and the UK government. And this trend line might come into play next week should we see a further sell-off of the pound. This 133 area is new resistance, and if we can get above that, then the September 1 high and this 134.83 area will also act as resistance. So extremely choppy. If you look at the weekly chart for cable, I got marked up this this decade-long trend line, which we tested last week, but we haven't managed to close above that and a close above this area. And I think we see a push higher, but it all depends on the fundamentals and things looking extremely messy for GU. So I'm going to continue to trade 50% of normal risk with this pair. Support will be 131.74, 131.75, which we seen tested, and we recovered a little bit on Friday. But things not looking good for this pair. I expect that we open a little bit lower on Monday and possibly test this trend line, but who knows? UY, looking at this daily chart, these lower highs have been put in place all year pretty much. So I expect that we can either stay within this trend channel or we make a move. If we break below this 103, 103.67 support area, then I think this trend line could get tested next week. I remember last year we sold off quite a lot on UY, or maybe let me see. Excuse me, 2 seconds. I have memories of it selling off 1 year. Yeah, here we go. This was a big sell-off in UJ in December and January, running it like over Christmas and the New Year. So if we see something like that, then I think this 101 area is gonna be tested. Break below that, and I think it could lead to a further sell-off in UY. But as long as we stay inside this trend channel, I remain neutral. But I think with all these lower highs being put in place, then I prefer a move lower for UY. Let's see what happens. GJ, again, we've spoken about GU. Again, these 140, 140.35 area is acted as resistance. We touched it on Wednesday and sold off quite dramatically into the end of the week. We've also closed above this previous resistance and support area of 137.85, breaking this ascending triangle. So I expect that we could test this trend line that's been put in around 136 area next week. Saying that, any recovery in the pound or any news or comments that come out which looks like we're going to make a deal, then I think we revert these losses and come back up to this 140 area. But extremely choppy. I'll be using my reduced risk rule for GY as well. EY, since breaking out of 125, which was resistance a few times in October and November, and then eventually breaking out early December. We still haven't come back to test this area. We've been consolidating for the last week or so around these highs of 127. So this kind of like 2 bar reversal after touching this resistance could lead to more selling off, but as we didn't close outside this range, I think we could see some further consolidation. Close below these lows of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of last week, and we could see a push down to 125, which I think will act as support before we see a break of 127 and a push higher. Yeah, so EY, as you can see, really choppy last week. It stayed inside the range. It wasn't like a moving market that we had the week before. So 125 is on here as support, and I think that gets tested before we move higher. But we're not trading price action. We're going to look at what the system says. But hopefully, it's a better week than last week. AU, I've been talking about this level, the 74 big round number, and also resistance back here in September the 1st. We put in this triple bottom here around big round number 70. And then we've pushed higher. We tested, we hovered around there. We put in an inside bar, an outside bar, and then on Thursday we put in a nice big candle. On Friday we continued this trend after 74 acted as a support. So if you look at where we could go next for this pair, it's not until 77.50 or even 81. So plenty of room to go up here. But also we could consolidate until we get there a number of days. So big move last week for AU, and it looks likely to continue this trend higher into the year. Also, if you have a look at this yearly candle, if I just here, this is where we opened on AU. This is a 2020 start. We touched down here 55, and then we have recovered all of the losses in the year and then extended some as well. So this is like a 1,500 point move now for AU, and it's starting to look like a huge pin bar on the year. So expect 2021 to continue this uptrend. You see, I've been speaking about this 129.50 area, which once we finally close below it, on the daily, there's been no looking back. We've sold off almost 250 pips in a week or so, or since December. So a huge move in dollar CAD. It's been breaking out in the mornings as well, which has been a bit unusual. So this is a sign of extreme selling or extreme dollar weakness for this dollar CAD, for this pair. And we have yet to come back and test the breakout area. So let's see what happens next week. This is a inside bar that was put in on Friday, so we could see a continuation lower for this pair. If you look at the weekly, we also tested and we've closed below this 127.82 level. So next is this low and this low that was back in April and the first quarter of 2018, and then down at 120.60 back in 2017. There's a lot of fresh air here, so I expect this dollar CAD to keep going. And I've also talked about this. I'm not sure if you've seen the videos of earlier, but this is a huge double top, some nice wicks, and I expect this to keep going down to 122, 120 area in the early part of 2021. EA, you can see this if I move to an hourly chart. you can see this kind of range or trend channel that we were in, that we broke out of it on Wednesday, with a big move down. We come back, we didn't even test the breakout area, which is a sign of of real strength by the bears. As you can see, these trend lines will be getting accelerating downwards. Each of the highs are lower. There's a big gap between them, so that added to the selling pressure, and we closed near the lows of the week. So room to go with this pair. I think this is a big level here, which has been trading sideways for the since June. So 2020 has been the second half of 2020 has been this huge sideways range. We tried to break out in October. We closed back inside it in November, and it looks like after this false breakout, we're going to see a break lower, and the trend is obviously down for 2020. So I expect that we'll see a break lower imminently, especially after this downward pressure by EA. See what next week brings. We could consolidate for the time being, but as you can see, the moving averages are pretty much there, not like they were on AU. So I think we can see maybe some further downwards pressure early part of next week. Gold's been pretty interesting. Not sure what this. No, there we go. Gold's been pretty interesting. Stayed inside this this trend channel. It's been respected, and we've seen a big push higher at the start of December. We've retraced slightly, maybe like 50% of that upwards move. I'm still targeting this resistance of this trend channel. We also, not sure why this, there we go. We also tested this trend line that's been intact, which is kind of midway through the trend channel I've got marked up here. Seen this big fake false breakout. We also tested it on the way down, and we tested it last week as well. So let's see what happens in gold. This area is becoming like a nice support area around 1825. If this continues to act as support, I expect this trend line to be broken, and we push up to the resistance of this trend channel. But it's there's also this head and shoulders that is intact on gold. As you can see, the left shoulder here, this is the head, and the right shoulder still intact with this kind of range of support. We've seen a big spike down here on Friday and a big push up. So if we can stay above this trend line, then I think that a break of this 1850 area and a close above it on the daily chart or even on the hourly chart, we'll see this head and shoulders fail, and we push up towards the highs and perhaps to the high of that trend channel on the daily chart. Anyway, that's it. Running out of time, and hope you have a good week, and let's try and make up for last week. Losses are part of the game, unfortunately, but if you want to read about what happened, you can do so on our website, and I'll try and do the reviews as much as I can. Obviously, very busy, but I think it really does help me as well as if anyone else is interested in learning about what we do. It's good. It's a good videos to watch if I'm not the best speaker. Anyway, enjoy your weekend. Bye.